Hey guys! Hello! Welcome back to my channel. This is Queentas and I live here in the UK with my awesome British husband. And I'm doing this live stream today just to share about my new job, what I'm doing to earn a living during this pandemic. And this should be able to give ideas to those who are going to be interested to do this as their career. So if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to give me a like and a comment and consider subscribing in the end. Okay, so the title of this live stream is what it's like to be a nanny in London. Yes, that's my new job, guys. I am a nanny in London. And if you are not aware, 4 months ago, prior to the lockdown and the pandemic, I am a manager at a hotel here in my area. And obviously, that is a wonderful job with a badge saying that you're a department head of the housekeeping department in one of a four-star hotel. Hi, Leia Javier. So, if you're asking why shift to um, becoming a nanny, I'm gonna be explaining it to you in this live stream, and hopefully you're gonna get something if you're already here in the UK. If you are on a spouse visa, if you have a right to work here in the UK and you wanted to be a nanny, I'll let you know whether this is a good paying job, if you could consider doing this, and if it is really a rewarding job. Okay, so yes guys, so now I work in London and it's my 4th month. Yay, how time flies. And why I chose to becoming a nanny is because when I was flipping through the vacancies, the nanny offers are really good. I mean, they range from 30,000 a year up, depending on your experience. So becoming a nanny in the Philippines, or yaya in the Philippines, is quite the opposite. It's like one of the lowest type of job. Like if you don't have any sort of educational attainment or any educational, like degree or diploma, then become a nanny, or then become a housekeeper, or then become a house help, or like those menial jobs. But here in the UK, especially in London, it is really a career, and it is really a competitive, high paying career. As a matter of fact, right now, and I'm not gonna say to you like how much in pesos, but I'm earning a seven digits salary a year. So that's how big is the salary of a nanny in London. And right now, my contract is a live-in nanny. Although I don't live in, a live-in is like your employer requires you to be with them and to live with them whilst doing your job, and then you'll have your day off or whatnot. Because I live in the countryside, my job is in London, but my arrangement with my hello boss Dave Planet, how are you? I live in here in the countryside, but I have to move to London to do this job. And instead of living in the same house with my employers, my boss, paid a room for me opposite their house, which belongs to the best friend, which is really good. And now that best friend of theirs is now my best friend too, and like my CC. And it's a massive 4-bedroom house, and it's like my CC, the owner, says that I could treat it as my own, and my husband can come anytime he wanted to visit. So, what it's like to be a nanny? Is it is it a hard job? Is it like a terrifying job? Or oh, Errol. So is it easy? Well, I always say that there's no such thing as an easy job, and especially becoming a nanny. I manage people, but now I look after kids. And I'm gonna tell you how I got the job, and what are the requirements, what was the hiring process, just to just for you to be able to have an idea if you wanted to become a nanny. Now, it's totally different from what I used to do. Like, I'm a manager in housekeeping. I used to lead a team of people. Now this time, I am looking after kids. So, and to tell you honestly, I don't have a child of my own. But how did I manage to get this job? So, I previously was a nanny before I go back to the hotel industry, and that was my experience here in the UK. And during my first hiring, when I was first hired, I don't have the experience, but now this is my second nanny job. I already have this experience. So what are the requirements? Normally, yeah, this is interesting. Normally, when if you want to do a nanny job, you could actually look for agencies that like hire nannies, and that's what I did. So I found an agency in a group, and that's why I got easily hired. Then there were those vacancies that they say this and that, looking for a nanny for this family of two boys, looking for a nanny for a family of one boy and one girl. So this vacancy, I inquired, and then I asked them about what are the basic requirements. And the number one requirement here, of course, is that you have a reference. The reference is meaning that somebody can vouch for your character and for your experience. So normally they would ask at least two references. So I had the reference from my previous work as a nanny, and then I had the reference from my hotel work, so they could vouch for who I am as a person, and how I am as a worker. So that's already taken care of. Now the second requirement, which is important here, is if you have trainings, like for example, child safety, child emergency, like all those training about children. That's a plus point that you could, you could choose for a higher bracket of salary. And then if you have like first aid for children, so it would be good. So those requirements, you can do them online. You could do them in a practical location, but now because of the pandemic, you can do those qualifications online actually. And the top most important requirement is what we call here in the UK as enhanced DBS. So this is like I forget the meaning of DBS, but this is like background check. This is like a police check to see whether you are not a threat to children. You don't have any problem. You will not be a threat to the safety of the children. So that is DBS. So enhanced means like they will check like for the past, I think they checked for the past 5 years. So I wasn't here before that because we were still in the Philippines, and they even checked my record in the Philippines as well. So DBS means thank you, babes. Put definition. DBS definition. That's it. So that is disclosure and barring service. It's a non-departmental public body of the Home Office of the United Kingdom, and it enables organization in the public, private, and voluntary sectors to make safer recruitment decisions by identifying candidates who may be unsuitable for certain work, especially involving children and vulnerable adults. Vulnerable adults, guys, are those that are elderly people, and provides wider access to criminal record information through its disclosure service for England and Wales. So yeah, I have to pay £72 for that, and it's quite expensive, but it's good to have, like, to have a validation when you get that certificate that you are of good record, and that you have no criminal record whatsoever. So once you're able to provide that, then obviously your other requirements are your your proof of your right to work here in the UK. Like, for example, to me, it's a resident card or a spouse visa. So those are important. So just to remind you guys, because during my first video of how to be a nanny in the UK, some people would ask me, they have offers, they have already sponsors or whatnot. A nanny is not listed in the shortage workers list in the government, but I am, as far as I know, if you have worked for the person or for that possible employer for at least a year outside the UK, and they are migrating to the UK, then they can hire you with them, they can take you with them. But if the offer is, like they saying, oh, there is an offer for me for a nanny job like this and that, please be careful of those scam, because some people are very crafty in, like, trying to con people. So please be careful about that. Now, going back to my topic, what it's like, is it really good? Well, obviously, for a job to be really to really work is like two-way. One, the effort coming from you, and the effort coming from your employer. So I always make sure that the expectations is clear from the start. So what are their expectations from me? What are my responsibilities? What are my roles? So I always make sure that that's clear, aside from the contract. And then normally they will give you a list of your duties and responsibilities. Now, during the pandemic, it's difficult. I started in April, and the kids were at home. My employers are working at home. They are very busy people. So, and part of my job is not just being a nanny. I'm also their housekeeper, meaning to say that I do everything in the house, including cleaning. Well, I cook, but my bosses are very good in cooking. So I cook specifically for the kids. But if I had a chance, I would cook for my employers as well. It's good that I am very good in cooking. That's a plus. And I do housekeeping. So I have a routine when I do change the beddings, when I do the laundry, And if they require some ironing, I do ironing as well. At the moment, the ironing is not a lot because obviously you're at home. They don't require a lot of like casual or formal clothes. And then cleaning, yeah, I do cleaning. But since I'm a very domesticated person, having a routine, I schedule everything, and then I got used to it. And I'm glad that my employers are really happy. They are very happy. And I'm happy too because they treat me like family, and the kids were lovely and awesome. And with regards to relationship, it's important that you are very, very honest. It's important that you are very also straightforward to them. It's important that you treat the kids like you look after them really like they are gold. And you make the most of this opportunity, because to tell you honestly, guys, the nanny job in London are really high paying. I mean, if you find a family like mine, it's like it's double the let's put it this way, it's double my manager salary. That's it. So yeah, and no stress, because they are lovely people, and because the kids settled with me right away. They really loved the way I do my routine. I treat the kids. So it's a nice job. And at the end of the day, I had to go home to opposite the house, which is just a minute away. So I don't have to travel. I don't have to commute. You know what I'm saying? And it's really fun. It's really a fun job, especially if you love kids. And what else? Security. It's important that you know how to make sure that the kids are safe, that they are not gonna be like get hurt whilst they are in your care. And you always check with your employer, how they want things to be done and whatnot. I've heard a lot of nannies that they don't like when the when the employers are at home, because they cannot, they cannot sort of do the routine and whatnot. I don't have any problem with that, because my employers, they are very, very hardworking people, and they have schedules, but they also make sure that they help me with 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 the other chores in the house. Like my boss would do the garden or do the painting, and my bosses would also cook for themselves. I can do some stuff for them, but like my main priority are the kids. So when it comes to I think work ethics is important. If you are asked to do something, you give your 100%, like in any other jobs. And I think that you have to respect the privacy of the family, especially this is a very big no you don't post anything, picture of the house, picture of the kids, in social media. They are not your property, and it's in your contract as well if you are contracted. And by the way, guys, my employers pay for my house, my bills. They pay for my food, and they also pay for my taxes. So it's a really, really good job. It really saved us a lot during this pandemic, considering that my husband is a high risk individual. He cannot work, and he is advised by the doctors to stay at home. So, and I'm also working, but I am not like going out and about. I'm just staying at home with my employers, because I don't mingle with the public. And when I'm like today, I'm home with my husband because I have 4 days off. I normally have weekend days off, but when I go here, in the countryside, my boss would drop me to the train station, and so I don't use public transport. So that's how the relationship between me and my employers are. We are like family. So what it's like to be a nanny in London, it's entirely up to how you will show your value to your employers. It is always important that you make sure uh, that they don't want to let go of you. Like last week, my boss said, "You're not going anywhere anymore, Pauline. You stay with us." You know, so I mean that really, really is like music to my ears. In this time that almost everyone doesn't have job, that they are staying at home and not getting paid properly. Here I am. I have a very high paying job and very, very a very, very wonderful family to work for. So if you're interested to becoming a nanny, if you want tips, if you want the agency that I got the vacancy from, or the group that where I got the agency from, you let me know. You drop your comment down below. And if you are in the Philippines aspiring to be a nanny here in the UK, please be very careful for the offers. It's not part of the shortage workers list. So as I said, you can only be a nanny if your employer is migrating to the UK and you have worked with them for more than a year, and they will take you with them. Other than that, there is no vacancy of nanny or domestic helpers or house help here in the UK. Outside the UK, you should already be here and have the right to work here in the UK. There you go. I hope that you like this video that this live stream that I did today, and I hope that you're happy that my husband and I are really doing okay despite the pandemic. And I hope that you guys, if you are nannies, please don't look down. Like this is not a job that is worth what you call this, being proud of, because you are taking care of the precious kids of the people, of the family that you are working for. So that is not something that you should be ashamed of, and you should take pride in whatever job you do, because it's better than sitting at home or doing something that is illegal. Anyway, I won't take up more of your time. I hope you don't forget to give me a like and a comment, and just take care. God bless you all. Bye bye.